Hi, I'm Jon Peterson, Executive Artistic Director of P3 Theater Company. Today we bring you some exciting news about our upcoming 2022 season in Hermosa Beach. You want to know more about what's going on with P3 in 2022? Listen to this conversation. Why is the theater experience unique? Well, think about it this way. You can sit at home or in a movie theater and be entertained by talented actors and actresses, and you can eat popcorn and you can get on your phone and look at Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. You can have conversations with people and you can fall asleep. And with all of that, you don't get the full experience of what you're actually watching up on the screen. Now, put yourself in a room with, say, 199 other people in a 200-seat theater, and you're there with a common interest of these 199 people that are sitting in the audience with you, and the interest of the people who are about to perform something for you. So those people are up on the stage, and you're actually experiencing firsthand a one-time unique experience. No two performances, even if the script is exactly the same, even if the musicians and the actors are exactly the same, there are no two performances that are exactly alike. So you are literally getting a once in a lifetime experience where you're really kind of, if you follow all of the social guidelines, you don't have those distractions of Instagram and talking with people and eating popcorn while you're watching it. You really don't have any other choice. You have two choices. You can either watch it and get everything you can out of it, or you can fall asleep. I don't recommend the latter. But that is what makes theater a unique experience, is that you get to be there firsthand and experience the live action of what's actually being presented to you. Why did I create P3 Theater Company? Well, my first answer is why not create P3 Theater Company? I created P3 Theater Company because I had an amazing career as an actor. And by amazing career, I mean I worked in fantastic theaters, I worked on cruise lines, I worked on in professional opera. I'm not saying I had this luxurious Broadway stardom career by any means, but I had what I consider to be a successful theatrical career. And I was at a point where I had done that. You can't always sustain yourself financially as an actor, so you get lots of jobs, other odd jobs, everything from Starbucks to waiting tables to administrative work. And I found myself in the trade show industry for about 10 years, working at trade shows and conventions. Left that job to go teach in Taiwan for a few months. And then I came back and thought, what do I do now? And then I think, okay, what have I always wanted to do? This is my opportunity to do something that I love and am passionate about, and try to make a dream come true. And that dream was to start a theater company. And that was the conception of what is now P3 Theater Company. One of the things that I have wanted to do in creating P3 Theater Company is basically take the best of all of my experiences as an actor. And when I mean the best, I mean the best of treatment from producers and creative staff, and take all of those good aspects and put them together in one theater company and make it just the best that it can be for all of those involved, everybody from myself to the board of directors, to the creative staff, to the actors, actresses, singers, dancers, volunteers, and administrative staff, everybody involved. It's not a perfect utopia by any means, but I feel that I've been able to put together a really special experience. So P3 Theater Company opened our doors on Friday the 13th of September. Yes, I said Friday the 13th of September in 2019. Our opening production was Evita. We followed that with Steel Magnolias. And then we did the West Coast premiere of Day After Day, the life and music of Doris Day. All three shows had extremely talented casts and crews and creative teams. And then as soon as Day After Day, the life and music Day After Day, the life and music of Doris Day closed, COVID hit. Bam. We still had 2 shows left to do for our grand opening season. They never happened. So COVID hit, and of course, as a brand new theater company, our main thing was, oh my gosh, we have this huge momentum of a growing patron base. Now we are unable to do anything for them. So we need to just keep our name out there and make sure people don't forget about P3 through all of this shenanigans of a pandemic. So we did a lot of virtual things. We did some virtual stage readings. We did virtual cabaret performances. We did hybrid live and pre-recorded performances. We made it through COVID with all of that fun stuff, but there is nothing like the live theater. And when that magic date of June 15th, 2021 came, where we were able to do shows in person again here in California, we were ecstatic. We started off with participating in the Hollywood Fringe Festival with a production of Funny Bones: The Humorous Solution, which is a musical sketch comedy review show. That was an award-winning production, mind you. We have since then done a cabaret show. We have done a review show. We have done a musical called Love Linda, The Life of Mrs. Cole Porter. We're about to produce a world premiere of another show called My Unauthorized Hallmark Movie Musical, and that will take us through 2021. What we're really excited about is what I'm calling season 1.5, because we didn't get to finish our first one, so it's 1.5. Or for you Harry Potter fans out there, it's season 1 3/4, or the 2022 season. We'll talk about that soon. So when P3 opened its doors in 2019, we opened them at the beautiful Ernest Borgnine Theater in Long Beach. That is housed inside the Scottish Rite Event Center in Long Beach. We performed our first 3 shows there, and we were in the process of transitioning over to the Renaissance High School for the Arts. They've got a beautiful new performing arts center there, and we were slated to perform our 4th show of our opening season in that facility. That's when COVID hit. So, we had a great venue for the better part of the last 18 months, and that's called the World Wide Web. So as things started to reopen, and as we started to kind of gear up and started thinking about a season and when we were going to do it, the biggest question was, where are we going to do it? There are very limited facilities out there where you can actually put on a production. You need the lighting, you need the sound, you need a stage, you need audience seats, you need all of that stuff. So we, as a theater company, were on the hunt for a space. We found a lot of great spaces, but in that process, we found we weren't the only ones looking for spaces. So other theater companies that didn't have homes were grabbing up spaces faster than I could find them, it felt like. So throughout our time as a theater company, we've done a few special event performances like MGM in Concert and The Theater is a Lady cabaret show, where we've used certain other like smaller or less known facilities. And one of those spaces that we were supposed to do a performance in, which was going to be in May of 2020, was at the Hermosa Beach Community Theater. And that's at Pier Avenue and PCH in Hermosa Beach. We didn't get to do the show because of COVID, but we did do a show there, our Love Linda show, this past October. I really liked that facility, so I started having conversations with the building personnel and talking with them about the possibility of bringing P3 Theater Company into the Hermosa Beach community. They actually have in their community center a large 512-seat theater called the Main Stage, and they have the second story theater, which is a smaller, more intimate theater that seats 81 people, or up to 81 people. So through that process and through doing a production in the Hermosa Beach community, I became connected with the Hermosa Beach Chamber of Commerce and the mayor of Hermosa Beach, and found that it's a really fantastic community. And we have been able to land, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the Hermosa Beach Community Center as our home for our 2022 main stage productions. So now that we have found what seems to be currently the perfect venue for our 2022 season with 2 different theater spaces, what shows are we going to put in those spaces? Well, guess what? I had already picked the shows, so I am now going to tell you what those shows are. Um, we are going to open our season with a play as opposed to a musical. And that play is called Love, Valor, Compassion. And that's by Terrence McNally, the playwright. And our second production is a musical. And that musical is called Bubble Boy. That is based on the movie The Bubble Boy, about the boy with the autoimmune disorder. The third show of our season is another musical, imagine that, called Disenchanted, a new musical comedy. And our final production of 2022 in our main stage series will be the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Love, Valor, Compassion by playwright Terrence McNally. That show won the Tony Award for Best Play in 1995. I actually have never seen the play on stage live. I was introduced to this work of art because it became a movie. And I saw the movie. The only big name in the movie would be Nathan Lane was in the film. I'm sorry, Jason Alexander was in the film. Nathan Lane was in the original Broadway production. Basically, Love, Valor, Compassion is a very engaging, dramatic story about 7 friends who would go to one of the friends owned a home kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And they would go there for long holiday weekends like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. And the story is about their friendships, the trials and tribulations of their friendships, the romantic relationships, the AIDS crisis. It did take place back in the 90s. And it's really just a very touching story. And it really speaks close to my heart because of the subject matter of it, with being gay friends. And it came out in a time in my life where I was a young homosexual back in the 90s, and I was able to relate to a lot of things in the show, in the movie. The good thing about it, and kind of the neat thing, readdressing, going back to this almost 20 years later, it's nice to, actually more than 20 years later, it's relevant on so many levels. You don't have to be a young gay male to relate to the story. It relates to anybody who has a friend or a group of friends that spends time together, that has had challenges, that has had a lot of love, unconditional love. Really, really beautiful, touching story. And I think anybody who sees it will be moved, definitely. And our second show, Bubble Boy. Oh my goodness. So Bubble Boy, the musical, is based on the Bubble Boy movie. This show was introduced to me by a good friend of mine, Mark Torres, who was in our inaugural production of Evita. I was also fortunate enough to share the stage with him on a couple of other occasions outside of P3. He introduced me to this show, and he is going to be the director of this show. It's really fun. It's a light-hearted look at the movie, The Bubble Boy. If you're not familiar with the story, it's about a boy with an autoimmune disorder who basically has to live in a bubble. But this is much more lighthearted than Love, Valor, Compassion. It's let's just say there's a song in it called Decontaminate Me. Now, by the title of that song, it's not going to be very serious. The production ran off-Broadway. It's got some fantastic music. It's going to be great. We have a very, very exceptional video projection designer. Video projections are going to be a huge part of this production. And it's going to be a lot of fun and a great time for all. And, it's an autoimmune disorder. We're coming out of a pandemic that, people have immune problems with it. It's just, there's a lot of things to relate to. So we're gonna pull on all of those COVID references that we can, and just, we need a little levity here. So I think that's what this show is going to bring, is a lot of levity. And again, it's a lot of great music. It's a great script. Not sure if I mentioned, but the script for the musical was written by the same person who wrote the movie. So obviously there will be a lot of similarities, if you will. So make sure you don't miss Bubble Boy. Now, the third show of our 2022 season. This is super exciting to me, because we were going to produce this show virtually the licensing company actually created a virtual version of this show to do and made it easier for producers to be able to do this. They called it the stay-at-home version. But we were unable to, for a number of reasons, actually produce it during 2020. So we're bringing it to a stage. It is called Disenchanted, a new musical comedy. What can I say other than it is the true story behind the Disney princesses? You think they're all happy-go-lucky and life is perfect and they live happily ever after. Not in this musical, they don't. For example, Ariel, your favorite mermaid, she sings a song about two legs. Yeah, there's a lot of hilarity in this production. Great music. It's an all-female cast, and it's some of your favorite Disney princesses are involved. You've got Belle, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Snow White, Pocahontas. And the list goes on. But it's really a lot of fun. And if you're a Disney fan, you're going to love it. If you don't like Disney, you'll probably love it even more because it again just pokes fun at Disney, a lot of the Disney tropes. So be sure not to miss Disenchanted. And to wrap up our 2022 season, we are so excited. We're doing a lot of shows this year that really aren't well known in the mainstream, which I think is great because there are so many good theatrical pieces out there. We want to make sure that our community gets a chance to see these where they might not otherwise have. But this show is one that you're probably familiar with, at least if you've never seen it, then you've at least heard the title, I'm hoping. If not, you're going to hear it now. And that show is the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Yes, I said it. I picked this show because I won the 7th grade San Diego County Lutheran Spelling Bee. I'm just saying. So another fun show. I think this is a year for a lot of levity, a lot of fun, a lot of silliness, and that's what you're going to get with most of our season. And this show, I think, is just the perfect way to wrap up 2022 on our main stage. So from our 2022 season, there were a lot of factors that I took into play when I was trying to come up with the season. You want a diverse mix of shows. You want shows that people are going to be entertained by. You want shows that you're going to be able to get a cast for. I took in a lot of that into consideration. So ironically, I picked a play with all men. I picked a musical with all women. I picked 3 musicals, which that's typically how our seasons go. We have more musicals than plays. But for the most part, what I really wanted to bring for 2022 in our season was feel-good stuff. The world has been so heavy for a couple of years now. I just want people to walk out of the theater humming and buzzing about what a great time they had and laughing and watching people laugh. That's really what I want people to get out of this season. Now, we do have a serious play in it. And I think I really felt it kind of necessary to have something a little serious because the world isn't always, what was it, rainbows and unicorns or puppies or all of that. So we've got to have a little reality in it. But even though it's a dramatic piece, it does talk about friendship and love. So it is a feel-good piece. So what I want the audiences to get is just a couple of hours at a time where they come and sit down in the theater and watch a really solid professional production and walk out of it tapping their feet and singing and humming and going home and just knowing that they had a great time and were able to get away from their own reality for a couple of hours at a time. So one of the hardest things about being the artistic director at P3 Theater Company is casting our shows. Let me tell you, here in Southern California, there is some ridiculously amazing talent. And it's the hardest thing, but it's my favorite thing. It's like, I want those actors to make my job so difficult when they come into the audition that I'm not going to know who to cast because I'm going to cast everybody. And that is how we have been so fortunate as a theater company since our very first production. We've had some ridiculous talent walk into our auditions and be in our shows. talent that can literally walk onto a Broadway stage and blow you out of your seats. So when you come to a P3 Theater Company production, you can be assured that you are going to get the best of the talent of Southern California. And let me tell you, there's a lot of it out there. So you want to make sure, support your community and support these wonderful stars. People must come to P3's 2022 season because theater needs you and you need the theater. It's a place, again, where you can get away from the troubles of your real world. You can live in some dream life for a couple of hours. You could put yourself in one of the characters' places and live their little toe tapping 2 hours, and just reset yourself. Get out of your normal routine of the Monday to Friday 9 to 5, if that's what your routine is, or have a date night. Just enjoy life. Theater is therapy on so many levels. It's therapeutic for the patrons. It's therapeutic for the actors. It's therapeutic for anybody who's passionate about it, on stage or off. So you must come to the theater to fulfill those needs. One thing I will say over and over is that theater is important. You've got Broadway stages. You've got the big stages in Las Vegas. You've got huge theaters in Chicago. You've got those great big regional centers like the Segerstrom Center, the Pantages. Those are all fantastic theaters, of course. But those theaters don't get into the core of the community, such as a local or small regional theater. And those theaters need support in order to continue to provide quality arts to the community. And what the bulk of those theaters also do is they give back to the community. So those donor dollars or those patron dollars that come in support of the theater, in the form of patrons that come to see the show and support the shows and support the theater companies, we give back. And what we give back is we give back healing, because theater is a very, very healing art form. We give back by going out into the community and sharing our talents in forms of workshops, educational workshops, and we get involved in our community. So your support is crucial to us, so we can continue to support you as a community. Hi, I'm Jon Peterson, Executive Artistic Director of P3 Theater Company, and our 2022 main stage season tickets are now on sale. You need to get thee to your computer and go to www.p3theater.biz. That's P3THEATRE.biz, and get your tickets to our 2022 season now.